Hello everyone, Eddie here again with another video, and what I wanted to talk about was Star Trek. And at first when I decided to do this video, I really wanted to do something a little bit lighter rather than all of the heavy stuff that I do at times, but unfortunately I don't think it's going to come out that quite that way, because it seems like right now I can never escape DEI. And so I just want to have a conversation about my views on Star Trek, the various series, and what I like about it and what I think about some of the current discussions. So originally, when I was going to make this video, I wanted to talk about all the hate that Star Trek Starfleet Academy is getting. It's the latest show released by Paramount, and it follows a list of cadets after the Great Burn and them trying to learn to become officers. And, there's a lot of hate online talking about, there's a lot of body shaming, talking about the diverse cast, talking about the captain. And I was just thinking about that, and then it brought me back to the original series. So when the original series came out, I was not born, but when I was a young kid, I would watch it with my father, and sometimes my brother and sister would watch as well. And we would just watch how Captain Kirk would be like basically fighting, and this huge ship that has lasers, and Mr. Spock, the person that looked almost human, but he had pointy ears and he bled green blood. And I remember Lieutenant Uhura, the comms person. It just was all around a great show that I really loved and enjoyed. And then I remember when Star Trek The Next Generation came on, and we were talking about different aspects of the shows and thinking like, why is the engineer, the Reading Rainbow guy, has a visor on his eyes, or the only other black guy has something on his forehead, not knowing that they were redoing the Klingons. And over the years, it got me sort of looking into and researching everything about Star Trek, because I'm a Trekkie. I love it. And the very first point that I got in thinking back from why Starfleet Academy is getting so much hate was that the original series got so much hate. So people back then did not like the idea of a beautiful African American woman serving as the communication officers of this U.S. Star Trek Enterprise. And the actress who played Lieutenant Uhura, Nichelle Nichols, she passed away a few years ago. She let it known through interviews that she actually wanted to quit the show because of all the hate that was given to her. There was an episode where she actually had to dance with William Shatner, Captain Kirk, and people, I guess, lost their minds. And that really stuck out at me, that she really wanted to leave the show. And she got a call from, and I'm going to say the one person that seems to cut through and hard for people to talk about, Martin Luther King, said that, you know what, it's good that we have representation on that show. That could she stay on that show? And she inspired so many people. Really, the whole cast did. But if back in the 60s they were giving that hate, why would it be any different now in 2026? So obviously this is nothing new, and I just have to think about the fact that I guess our experiences are different, because when I watched the show with my father, he viewed it as like cowboys in space. I viewed it as that, wow, look at this, they're past the point of not or judging people based on the color of the skin, or working to the bone to make money. They're doing it for the curiosity. They're exploring. They're making the entire human race a better race. and this little piddly stuff on the side isn't a big concern. And I just think that on the flip side, somebody probably grew up saying that, oh geez, gosh, that's just what we need, another black person on TV. Pretty soon, they're gonna have a whole cast. And that brings me up to an image that I saw when I was looking at some of the Reddit boards. Let me go ahead and pull it up here. Someone saying, well, check this out. This will be the new series. Star Trek Infinite Diversities. New series coming in 2027. Now, I will admit that I know the person was being very sarcastic, but to be perfectly honest, this looks like a show that I actually would enjoy watching. I mean, look at that cast. They look like they're going to get into some shenanigans. Because I guess 100, well, I guess it can't be 100. It'll have to be 700, 800 years into the future. Maybe some kind of way mankind will realize that the amount of melanin in your skin does not dictate how smart or how dumb you are. That some people can just leave that type of thing behind. Really cool picture, by the way. I just want to say this, guy. I mean, I know whoever made it was being sarcastic, but this is really cool. I thumbs up because I really do like it. But when I was looking at the Starfleet Academy and thinking that, how they were fat shaming some of the people on there, or Star Trek Discovery, how they fat shamed the actress who played Tilly, I actually have a brother-in-law who's very tall. He's about 6'4", and he's very muscular built. But when he was growing up, he was really scrawny, and people picked on him a lot. And so he bulked up. He became actually big and muscular, and now he's just, he's just really big. He's just a really big dude now. But body types don't indicate anything healthy per se. It depends on what you are. Some people choose to be overweight due to lack of exercises. Some people, genetics just make them heavy set. Some people are thick, not fat, thick. Some people are skinny. I don't think in any future anytime soon everyone is going to be a specific size. I just don't think that. For one reason or another, whether it's a personal preference or just the genes that you're dealt, our weights are going to vary. Because if that's the case, then, we should all be a certain height. I mean, some of us may not want to be 6 feet. Some of us may want to be 6 feet. I'm just saying, of all the things to shame someone, body weight just seems silly to me. Really just shows a sense of insensitivity and ignorance. And that's one thing Star Trek is not about. So, again, I have to go back to what were some people's perspectives when they watched the show. So, I find it very interesting that on Black History Month, I'm thinking about Star Trek and how it has impacted African Americans in this country, and how one of our greatest civil rights leader was pushing for more diversity in the show. And yet here we are, 2026, and people, I guess, just want to see nothing but white people. I'm actually curious, what would make a good Star Trek show? Because every series I hear the same complaint. It's diverse, or the acting is bad. And I can give you that. I mean, it's not War and Peace or something of that later, or it's not the high drama, but seriously, most series, the first or second season, the actors and actresses are trying to get into the role. So it's like you don't want to cuss. Like, what do people really want that hate the show, that really dislike the show? Do you just want a show where, again, I'm trying to figure out. I mean, I can take you there to what I think you want, but I don't want to presume. But I'm going to presume some of the people who are very critical of the show want a white captain, preferably a white male captain, because obviously Janeway had so much hate. They want everybody to be white. You know, what is this thing with Vulcans being different ethnicity? And I'm going to pause right there because I just remembered a funny story. When I was in college, Star Trek Discovery was coming on. I remember a lot of the professors were talking about it. Seems like it's going to be an interesting show. I'm sorry, Star Trek Voyager. I said Discovery. I meant Voyager. And I was watching it, and that's the first time that we saw Tuvok, who happens to be a black Vulcan. And I had this dorm mate, actually a really smart guy, happened to be white, redheaded dude, and he could not, for the life of him, come to terms with a Vulcan being black. And he just repeatedly kept saying, this is just killing it for me. I just don't get the fact. I don't understand. It just doesn't make any sense to me. A black Vulcan? And he just kept saying it over and over and over again. And so sometimes you get that where like all eyeballs are on you. What are you going to say? And I'm the Trekkie. And so after he said it like the 8th time, I told him, I said, you know what? I said, I'm right there with you. I said, a black Vulcan is just as absurd as a black human. And then just the look in his face. And then he tried to go there with me, trying to cite Trek knowledge, saying, well, no, according to the lore, Vulcans don't have pigmentation. And I said, well, this is before we had all of the high-speed internet and the huge Wikipedias and all those things. But I said, no, show me where it says that. It never says that, because I was a hardcore Trekkie fan. But it's just so funny that he took that all Vulcans had to be white. So even in a whole nother different race, they had to all be white. So I just find it depends on your perspective and on your experience. If you lived in a household that, doesn't celebrate diversity, this might seem like, you're being replaced. And that could be a scary thought. As for me and why I wanted to create the video, I want to talk about how Star Trek has really, how I enjoy all the shows, how I love them all, and how each one is different, and how I love the show in that I mean, obviously I like some series better than other, but I don't think any of them are so terrible as to warrant some of the hate that has been given. I mean, I actually love Star Trek Voyager because to me, that was a blending of Star Trek, Battlestar Galactica, and Lost in Space. And I just thought that was awesome. And the fact that it was a female captain, to me, I'm thinking like, and what is the problem with that? I really didn't see that. Of course, I love Deep Space Nine. I mean, they really touched on a lot of issues. And Benjamin Sisko, by far, is, I consider, one of the best captains. I honestly consider Captain Janeway the best captain as far as her ability to assess the situation. I thought, like so many other people, that Picard was more of a superior type guy, very analytical. But I thought Kirk was a different time. Again, he was the cowboy, the cowboy captain. I thought Archer was good. I thought he was pioneering, setting the stage. I love Star Trek Discovery. Again, I just like the whole series, the whole arc from going to the future. And I do like the fact that it was a African American captain who helmed the series. Thought it was great. Strange New Worlds, obviously wearing the attire. I thought they were getting back to Star Trek Classic, showing us what the worlds were. And then Starfleet Academy, I enjoy that. I want to see the inner workers, because you always hear about how Starfleet turns out such good cadets. And now we actually get to see what that entails. And again, since we have another female captain, I assume they're just taking over, right? And the fact that for whatever reason they don't like the actress Holly Hunter being barefoot, I thought all of the actors had types of quirks to them that made the characters great. But anyway, these are just my reasons why I like it. But for just that brief moment, Star Trek wasn't about this petty stuff that we have down here. They were dealing with more grand problems where they were united trying to solve tasks that were for the betterment of whole worlds. And so it was a nice future to aspire to. So, as they say, haters gonna hate. But I actually am enjoying the series, and I think I will enjoy pretty much all of the series. And with that being said, once again, if you guys keep watching these videos, I will keep making them. I appreciate you all, and in the style of Star Trek, please live long and prosper. Take care.